Amanda, and welcome back to Fully Blessed. This is the channel where we discuss timeless truths about issues that are important to women of faith. And today we're talking about a rather heavy subject again. It seems like we've been doing that a lot lately, but I know that the issue of mental health is very important and prevalent for a lot of people. Maybe you yourself, maybe a loved one or a close friend. I think we all know someone who has dealt with mental health struggles. So let's talk a little bit about that today. How do we as Christians think about mental health issues? How do we relate to those we know who have mental health concerns? What do we do with our interactions with those in the church who have mental health issues? Let's think about some of these things together. So first, obvious disclaimer, I'm not an expert in this. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, but I do know some people who have had mental health battles that they've been fighting, and I've dealt with a few things of my own, so I just wanted to share some personal thoughts and experiences for you to kind of help us better think about this rather complex issue. So, first, mental health definitely is a legit thing. This is not just in your head. And I think sometimes it's hard for us to fully grasp that, especially if we don't ourselves struggle with this. So let's be very careful to not dismiss people. Now, is this a label that could perhaps be given quickly? Well, maybe, but that's not my call. All I know is that my friend, my loved one, is struggling, and I want to help them. So I just would encourage you to keep that in mind. So, can a true Christian suffer from mental health issues? Well, yeah, I think so. And the reason I think that is because mental health is largely a spiritual issue, and we can face spiritual attacks, if you will. And also, mental health is a large component of it is physiological. There can be legit neurons misfiring or hormonal imbalances that cause mental health challenges. And believers are not immune to that. We still live in a fallen, broken world, in a society that is evil, and we still face struggles like trauma or anxiety or depression. These things don't just go away because we're a Christian. So yeah, I think that Christians absolutely can deal with mental health issues. And I think it's very wise that you talk to your doctor about this, especially if you feel or your family and friends are noticing that it's impacting your everyday life. So I just want to point out that there's a very important distinction between our mind and our brain. Our brain, the organ, that gray matter, that's very physiological, and sometimes our mental health issues are solely focused there. So, some things like therapy or medications, perhaps, and that can have a great effect for us, right? But then there's the mind, and this is going to be where the spiritual side largely plays in, right? So just keep that in mind that when we're talking about mental health issues, there are two things that we're looking at here. And so this is why I think it's also very important to be in touch with your pastor. You're going to need his guidance and his counsel from someone who knows you well as you think through these things. You'll need his prayers and his personal support, right, as you face your challenges. And you may also just simply need him to talk to verbally process with. This is a huge part of the healing and growth process. And so that's going to be very, very important. And for the spiritual side of mental health struggles, your pastor is going to be probably the one who's really going to help you discern what's at the heart of your OCD, for example, right? There's certainly a physical side to that, but there's also a spiritual side to that. Where did that come from? He's the one who's going to be able to help you with that, right? Or at least get you started down that path. So absolutely talk with your pastor. I know that when my husband and I lost our baby at 22 weeks, I was in a pretty sad place for a long time. It was like 3 weeks before I wasn't crying every day, multiple times a day. And even now, 3 months later, I still have a lot of hard moments. But we've been able to meet with our pastor and others in our church, and we've been praying together, and this has been a huge blessing to us. And we still continue to touch base with these people. This is an ongoing healing thing. And so I would really encourage you to do that. And journaling has also been very, very helpful for me. I also know that at the very beginning, right when we were in the grieving process the most, it was really hard for me to focus on reading my Bible or having a focused prayer time. My mind was just too clouded. So I would listen to praise music a lot, and that would help orient my mind on truth when I couldn't focus otherwise. And then as I was able to do that more, writing out prayers and reading the Psalms has been very, very helpful for healing. So how do we interact with our friends and our loved ones, especially in the church, who have mental health issues? Well, I would first suggest to pray lots. Pray for yourself that you would have wisdom to know how to best help them and how to best encourage them. Pray for your friends a lot and tell them that you're praying for them. I think we underestimate just how encouraging it is to hear from someone, how's it been going this week? I've been praying for you today. That is super, super encouraging for them. So keep telling them that. Keep texting them that. Call them up randomly and just say, I've been praying for you today. How can I pray for you right now? That's very encouraging for them. It might also be super helpful to just tell them, I'm bringing you coffee this week. Which day is better for you? They might just need to have someone say, yep, I'm going to come and I'm being with you. And just know that when you do that, it's okay if you don't know what to say. Sometimes words are not necessary at all. Sometimes we just need someone to sit with us and just to acknowledge, this is really hard, but I'm here for you. And then just sit, right? Sometimes we just need someone to come and distract us by talking about anything and everything else. Sometimes that can be very, very helpful. We don't always have to talk about the issue at hand. In fact, sometimes it can be very helpful to get out of that space for a little bit. So I also want to encourage you to keep reaching out to these friends. I know that it can be very intimidating and it can feel really hard when you see this friend at church and you know that they've been having a rough time, but it feels like I just don't know what to say to them without talking about the issue at hand. It feels like there's an elephant in the room. This is awkward, so maybe I'll just avoid them. I really encourage you to fight against that desire, as hard as it is. Pray for strength, pray for wisdom, but keep talking to them and keep reaching out to them. They need you probably now more than you know. And so I would really encourage you, if you're battling your own mental health issues, utilize all the good gifts that God has given you. Your pastor, your doctor, a psychologist, a biblical counselor, they all have good things. They all have good wisdom to give you. Medications can be another great gift from God. Any and every good gift is from God, right? James tells us this. So utilize all those good gifts. You might need more than one of them, depending on what's going on in your life right now. And that's okay. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be ashamed of that. And it's all good. Take advantage of those good blessings that God has given you. So that's all for today. I hope that this has been an encouragement for you. If you know someone who has been dealing with some mental health things and could use this encouragement, forward this to them and like and subscribe if this has been a blessing to you. I hope that it has. And so remember that you are fully blessed because of the work Jesus has done for you. So go and be a blessing today.